All right, I see a lot of people that are significantly younger than I am. Who knows who this guy is? Raise your hands, please. All right, so a fair number. For those of you that don't know, this is Shaquille O'Neal. He's one of the greatest basketball players of all time. He's famous for being really, really bad at free throws. What you might not know about him is that he's also really bad at sleeping. Shaquille has sleep apnea. It's a condition that makes him wake up many times during the night, makes him not be very rested. My goal today is to try to encourage you to think that those two may be related. My objectives here are to help you all increase your sleep so that you can improve your athletic performance, decrease your injuries, and improve your health in general. Now, any sort of aspect you think of in terms of athletics gets worse with poor sleep. In terms of decreased reaction time, decreased accuracy, there was one study that looked at tennis players who got less than 5 hours of sleep a night, and their accuracy actually decreased by about 25%. Strength, doing your max strength test in the gym or whether or not it's out on the playing field, that goes down as well. In addition, your endurance also decreases too. Now, on the other side, if you increase your sleep, you do better. This is a study that was done by Stanford, where Stanford took their collegiate basketball players, they increased their sleep time to about 10 hours on average, and they found that over their 5 or 7 week period that they were able to increase their sprint times by 0.7 seconds, to increase their free throw percentage by 9% and their three-point shots by 9% as well, just by sleeping and no changes to their practice habits. On the other side, not getting enough sleep is associated with increased injury rates. Having less than 8 hours of sleep a night increases your risk of getting injured by 1.7 times. In addition to that, you have worse health in general. People who get less than 5 hours of sleep a night, they are more likely to catch the common cold by about 30%. People who have chronic sleep deficits, they are more likely to have mental health problems like anxiety, depression, and other issues like that. And they're more likely to engage in risky behaviors, get in more car accidents, and have just a host of different health issues as well. Now, in addition to that, sleep has also been shown to affect people's grades. When you look at the A students, A and B students, they get on average greater than 8 hours of sleep a night, whereas your D and F students, they get less than 7 hours a night. And it's also graduated as well, where A students tend to get 15 minutes more than your B students, who get 15 minutes more than your C students, etc. Now, how much sleep is enough? It's the range depending on the individual, but about 8.5 to 10 hours, which is important because when you look at our seniors, most of them, 75% of which, are not getting enough. I see a lot of younger folks as well. For kids less than 10, thinking somewhere around 9 to 11 hours of sleep, less than 5, even up to 12, 13 hours of sleep a night, a lot. Now, why are the reasons that kids and adolescents in particular are not getting enough sleep? A lot of it has to do with how, as kids go from being kids to teenagers, your natural clock just shifts, where you want to go to bed later, you want to wake up later. That's worse, or made worse by the fact that school starts pretty darn early. There's been several studies that have shown that if we start school later, kids do better, they get in less accidents, they do better in their academics. Something to think about, but it's not quite conclusive at this point. We have screens everywhere, from our cell phones to our tablets to our computers, TVs, everywhere. More time in this has been directly related to sleeping less. Finally, just insomnia. People who can't fall asleep, stay asleep, or they wake up early for a host of different reasons, some of which are anxiety, depression, stress. And then just being overweight. Our society's getting bigger. That's caused issues like Shaq and his sleep apnea. And all these things contribute to having us get less sleep in general. Now, here's my recommendations for what you can do to increase your sleep. Rule number 1 is that beds are for sleep only. It's not the place where you go to worry at night. It's not the place where you go to play on your phone, watch TV, even do your homework. When you go to bed, I want your brains to think that this is the only place that I go to sleep. The second thing is turn off the screens. Turn off the screens and turn off the lights as soon as you can. I would recommend as soon as homework's done to have a rule that you put your phone aside, you turn off the TVs. It's hard to do, but it makes a difference. 3, make a relaxing routine of some sort. Whatever it is that makes you relax, whether it be a bath, doing yoga, meditation, something. Read a book, talk to a friend. Avoid caffeine. Caffeine wakes you up and makes you shift your natural rhythm later. Other things you can do as well are wake up at the same time every single day. What happens to a lot of us is we wake up 6 or 7 a.m. in the morning, and on Friday and Saturday we go to bed much later, and we wake up much later on the weekend, 10, 11 a.m. or so. Then Sunday night what happens is that our body is not tired when we try to go to bed. What we've effectively done is induce jet lag. Our body thinks that we skip forward 2 or 3 time zones. Now, that's why I recommend that you go to sleep every day, or sorry. That's why I recommend that you wake up at the same time every day. Now, I fully expect that most of you will ignore that, which is why I come to my next recommendation. Consider doing maybe melatonin on a Sunday night. Melatonin helps shift your circadian rhythm back to where you want it to be. So even a small dose, 0.3 milligrams, can be helpful in trying to make you sleepy for that Sunday night. And then the other thing you can do as well is turn your lights on in the morning. Right now, while it's so dark, turn on as many lights as you can when you get up in the morning. And then finally, take naps as needed. 20 to 30 minutes can be helpful. So I want to try to see if we can't take some of this home. In a minute, I want you to turn to the person next to you. And then after a minute's gone by, I'm going to raise my hand. If you see me raise my hand, raise your hand and stop talking. So what I want you to do is turn to the person next to you and say how much sleep you got last night. Then I want you to say what you might do to make yourself sleep longer based off of this. All right, go. All right. Anybody want to share what they might change? Bueller? No?
Mine was stop going to work.
I like it.
Turn off the TV and put the phone away.
Okay. That's huge. All right. So my take-home points that I want to impart to you is, 1, I recommend people sleep more. 8.5 to 10 hours a night is what I recommend for our adolescents and teenagers. To do this to increase your performance in the field, to increase your grades, decrease your chance of getting hurt, and to decrease your chance of getting sick. Do this by relaxing, by turning off screens, turning on lights in the morning. And for anything else, come chat with me later. All right. Thank you. Anyone have any questions before we turn it over to Alice, please?
Are there any negative effects of taking melatonin each night? Is that a bad thing to do?
You know, some people, they get resistance to it, and they need more and more to make it effective. But really, it's one of the safer supplements you can take. People have very few side effects to it.
Thanks.
This would be not one of those do as I say and not do. I think it's recommended for kids over the age of 3 or 4, but it's quite safe. I said 0.3 milligrams. It's almost impossible to find that dose in the stores. They usually come in 2, 3, 6 milligram tablets or gummies. Just cut them in half, and for frequently it will help your younger children.